Malls or shopping centers are locations that tend to be sparkling with life and joy, but trust me, there is nothing more eerie than a closed one late at night. If you ask any mall security guard to describe their job in 3 words, the word creepy will more than likely be one of them, and the video that I am going to showcase is part of this reason. The time was 2 a.m. and a security officer was patrolling around the local shopping center, specifically a clothing store. To his fortune, there were no intruders, but there were certainly some suspicions. Have a watch.
Me apagaron las luces.
No sé. No hay nada, literalmente ni nadie. Aquí en la tienda, ni en esta plaza, ni nada. Pero hay algo que me llama mucho la atención dentro de este lugar. Desde hace un rato ya he estado viendo cómo se mueve una prenda en específico. No sé si puedan verla. Qué pedo. No mames. Literal no hay nadie. Estoy aquí solo. Y vean cómo se mueve. Oh, no mames. Qué pedo. No mames. No mames, se apagaron todo. Y esta madre se sigue moviendo. Oh, no te pases de lanza. Ya me alejé, pero vean cómo se sigue moviendo esto.
For some mysterious reason, one of the t-shirts started waving without any sort of human interaction, and it was clear that no visible force was acting upon it. Furthermore, as if the incident wasn't already frightening enough, the lights turned off, and they were not scheduled to do so at all on that night. The security guard contacted the team and asked them if they did this, to which they stated that they did not. The following video took place in the room of Elias Samael, and he was enjoying a nice and leisurely Sunday when all of a sudden a spirit decided to ruin it. Elias was watching the new episode of his favorite show on his mobile device and had been waiting months for it to release, and when it did, he watched it without any delay. He was ready to binge a minimum of 5 episodes, but to his dismay, a certain poltergeist had other ideas.
Amigos, tengo rato que escuché que me tocaron la puerta, pero yo pensé que era el señor que me renta. Pero no hay nadie, estoy solo y estoy viendo una película, pero algo como que me están tocando otra vez. No sé quién sea, tengo miedo de ir, pero no se ve nadie. que lo tendré que dejar así porque yo no sé nada sobre ese tipo de cosas. La verdad sí tengo miedo de todo esto que está pasando ahorita porque no sé cómo hacerle. ¿Qué hacer? Algo raro. No sé qué está pasando realmente. Esto no tenía por qué haberse movido. ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué quieres? Vete de aquí. Déjame en paz.
Now, if you could not tell, this was not Elias's first encounter with the paranormal world, and it would not be far-fetched to actually call him a regular victim. You can tell from the Ouija board alone that he has experimented with the world of ghosts previously, not to mention that his content has appeared on this channel in other episodes. In this specific video, some mysterious sounds were being broadcasted behind the door, and they were followed by the collapse of several cups within the room. It was blatantly obvious that the cause of these events were a spirit, and unfortunately, there was nothing that Elias could do about it. Suggest some ideas for him down below in the comments. Omar was a strong believer in Jesus Christ and Christianity as a whole, so it came as no surprise when he turned to the religion immediately after encountering spirits. The event happened on February the 5th of 2025, and Omar was doing an activity as simple as lying in bed. Suddenly, he heard something scraping against the ground, and the name of his dead grandfather was whispered down his ear, but the only evidence that he had of this was his own word. It was because of this that he quickly forged a cross to protect him, in case something else randomly happened, and soon enough, it did.
Plebes, son las 3 de la mañana, plebes. Escuché el ruido, plebes. ¿Hay alguien en la pura puerta de mi cuarto, plebes? No sé quién demonios sea, pero me está dando mucho miedo, plebes. Quise marcar a mi familia. El teléfono me sonaba como si no estuviera en línea. Espíritu Padre que estás en el cielo. Plebe. Mames, plebe. Se está meneando mi calentadora, plebe. No.
The radiator crawled across the floor towards Omar, and he was extremely lucky to have captured such a phenomenon on camera. The only downside to this video was the fact that the cross in which Omar was holding failed to frighten the spirit into leaving him alone, meaning that whatever he was facing must have been a fairly powerful demon, or perhaps just his grandfather, considering the whisper. Abdul has had several features on this channel before, and it is more than obvious at this point that whatever is haunting him is here to stay. It all started several weeks ago when he began to hear some odd noises from downstairs during the night, but ever since that moment, things have just continuously gotten far worse. Nowadays, he does random checkup videos, where he will take his phone out and film the entirety of his house in case something happens, and he has gained a heap of videos from this routine. The video that you are moments away from seeing is one of them. Take a look.
Se han estado escuchando ruidos sonidos en toda la casa y de alguna forma no sé si estoy tratando de decirme algo de una forma más directa. Se escucha más aquí en la sala y en la recámara he tratado de dejar harina también en la sala, en las sillas, en todos lados porque ha habido más movimiento. Pero las campanas ya... ¡Ay, cabrón! Esto también es lo que quería decir, o sea, Cookie ha estado cambiando de posición en toda la recámara y... pues no sé a qué se deba. Solo ocurre en la recámara. Esto también ha estado sucediendo y incluso dejé un poco de harina en lo que es el asiento y... pero no logro distinguir mucho. Voy a tratar de leer esta misma hoja con más calma en otro momento. Y bueno, los murmullos... Chinga. Me cerraron la ventana. Pero aquí se escuchan los murmullos y a ver, no pienso abrir la puerta en esta ocasión. Definitivamente no.
All around the house, weird stuff were happening, and in the life of Abdul, this was probably something that he would consider to be on the more light side of things. Usually, his spirit would launch items from across the room in his direction, but this time around, the worst that things got was the turning of a chair. Still scary for the average viewer, nonetheless though. Steve and his beloved wife were a happy couple for many years, and at one point it seemed as if no one or nothing would be able to pull them apart. No matter how many embarrassing things they did, or how many mistakes one of them made, they would always apologize and make up with each other, which was honestly really wholesome to see. However, there is one type of creature that holds the power to ruin things as powerful as love, and this is a poltergeist. Steve started to continuously hear knocking from doors all around the house when his wife was not in, and she thought that he was becoming a psychopath. It was because of this that she left the house and put it on Steve to fend for himself, who had a new ambition to prove the existence of something in the house. After putting motion sensors in the basement, he waited, and eventually he was rewarded.
It's like 11 p.m. I just got out of the shower, about ready to go to bed, and this keeps going off. That's the motion detector in the crawl space. I am scared to death to watch the footage from the camera down there. But we gotta do it. I've been putting this off all day, but it's about to get dark soon, so we need to go down there. This is the last thing that I want to do, but I don't really have a choice. Okay, right over there is where I saw the thing. What was that?
This was a highly disturbing video, and after the footage was checked, Steve regretted his decision of taking action deeply. He would have rather not known that there was a literal demon hiding in his basement, and continued to hear knocking despite it slowly driving him insane. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and a time that many choose to refer to as the witching hour. The man recording the video was working alone in the small, dimly lit room. The stillness of the night surrounded him, and the soft glow of his screen illuminated the space. He had been working all night, getting lost in his boring task of guarding the facility, when suddenly the silence was abruptly broken. He heard running footsteps from somewhere down the hall, and presumably nearby to the stairs. His eyes darted toward the sound. It was odd. No one else was supposed to be in the building. Eager to find the source of the footsteps, he approached them and investigated. Surprisingly, though he found nothing, the footsteps stopped, leaving only the sound of his breathing. He shook his head, chalking it up to the late hour, but then something else. A soft moan echoed from down the hall. It was low, almost inhuman, and it sent a chill crawling up his spine. He froze, listening intently, waiting for something more. But everything went quiet again before the lights turned off. The man who captured both of these upcoming clips had the birth name of Ian, but his alias was the Midwest Ghost Hunter. This is because he traveled all the land of the Midwest in order to expose the true nature of paranormal activity, and this involved visiting a lot of well-known haunted landmarks. The place that Ian decided to explore in the video that you are about to be exposed to was a haunted manor of which the lore goes way too deep to explain. You don't need lore to understand that this place was beyond haunted though, and if you do not believe me, then take a look for yourself.
Got a K2 meter here. I'm gonna see if I can get any responses from Captain Jacob Colors' ghost. Captain Colors, are you here with me tonight? You were the owner of this building back when it was a hotel. They say that your spirit is still here. Is there any truth to that? If so, could you touch the green light? Is it okay that I'm here? Whoa. Whoa. Oh my God, that was a deep thump in this wall here. Is that a yes? Or is it a no? Ooh, that was weird. I don't know what to think of that. Definitely surprised me though. That was a loud thump in this wall. Oh God,
Whilst Ian was interrogating the framed image on the wall, looking for answers as to whether he still haunted the building, a large thump was heard from the wall behind it. This coincidentally came after he inquired for an answer, which led him to believe that this was the spirit's way of implying the answer, yes. This was backed up by a sighting just shortly after.
Are there any former residents still living here? Hello? Oh my god! Oh my god! There was someone over there! Holy shit! I literally just saw a figure peek out of that room over there. It peeked out and it was looking right at me. Holy shit. Who are you? I just seen you. Could you peek out again? Okay, there's definitely somebody in there, which means I have to go check it out. Ooh, yay. Who's in?
Ian saw the figure of what was presumably a poltergeist peek around the corner of a hallway at him, and he was very taken aback by this, because if you know one thing about the paranormal, it should be that apparitions are extraordinarily rare. This was followed up by some mysterious noises that further confirmed the presence of an entity to Ian. Funerals are when you manage to capture people at their lowest points, and this is because these events are very depressing. Losing a loved one is mentally scarring for everybody, and hence why nobody is in a good mood at these events, but at least the majority are not haunted. The only thing that is worse than a funeral is a haunted one, and the attendees of the funeral that this clip came from would agree with this. Have a watch. The white balloon started to drift towards the wife of the man who died, and she almost sensed that it was her husband doing this. While the majority of the people at the funeral were given the creeps by this incident, she held the balloon close, knowing that it was likely her husband of 20 years, saying his final goodbyes. This would be why she broke down into even more tears. The following video took place very early in the morning at a convenience store that had absolutely no business being haunted. It was a super irrelevant store, and no form of spiritual events had ever been recorded there, making it the last place a gambler would put their money on being haunted. However, despite the odds being low, they were not at zero, and one day, while two members of staff were preparing to open the store for the day, they experienced this.
Nos encontramos aquí en mi trabajo. Al fondo se observa una cámara de refrigeración donde parte de la tarde se han estado abriendo y cerrando solitas las puertas. Hay momentos que se calma, pero de repente empiezan otra vez a abrirse y cerrarse. Me voy a mover para allá para ver de cerca, a ver si, ¿qué pasa? Nos vamos acercando a la cámara. Jorgito es uno de mis compañeros de aquí de trabajo. ¿Qué pasó, hijo? ¿Qué se cayó? Vean. Ahí ya empezaron a abrir también. Vean, observen. Híjole. Vamos a tratar de no acercarnos, Jorgito, porque... Vean cómo se están abriendo las puertas. Vamos a ver de aquel lado. Ahí se ve cómo se están abriendo y cerrando. Toda la tarde estaba pasando esto, e inclusive ya hay gente que se dio cuenta, clientes. Y híjole, la verdad sí es un poco temeroso. Ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que, vean, ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que viniera a ver esto que está pasando. No me cree, pero digo, quedó de venir, hasta ahorita no ha venido. Y no nos hemos atrevido a ir a la parte de atrás en la cámara porque pues nos da un poco de temor, ¿no? Porque pues esto es algo sobrenatural. Pero vamos, Jorgito, allá atrás a ver qué pasa. Vean. Vamos a ver qué pasa. Vamos a arriesgarnos a ir. Vamos a arriesgarnos porque a ver qué pasa. Esta es la parte de la entrada de la cámara. Vamos a ver qué pasa. O sea, ahora sí que... Dijo, no sé si oyeron. Jorgito, ve a ver, hijo. ¿Sí? Veamos qué pasa.
Strangely, the refrigerator doors continued to open and close themselves whilst they were being filmed, and it was almost as if they had a mind of their own. The two members of staff were freaked out by this for obvious reasons, and immediately alerted their manager over text message. Unfortunately, their manager did not take this quote, excuse, and demanded that they continue working for the day or they would be fired from the job. Was the boss in the wrong? Let me know in the comments. Alonzo was a well-known ghost hunter within his community, and almost everybody came to him when they had a problem regarding the spiritual world. With his strong portfolio and muscular build, nobody could say no to him and his services. But one day, a mission got a little bit too difficult for his liking. It took place on a Sunday, and he was being paid extremely high money to work this day. It was immediately after entering the supposedly haunted vicinity that he caught this phenomenon on camera.
Victoriano, saludos. Carolina. ¡Ay, no madre! ¡Uy, qué fue eso! Perdón, amigos, grité como mujer. Grité como mujer. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Buenas noches. Grité como mujer, amigos. Buenas noches. ¿Quién eres? ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien ahí? Buenas noches. ¿Qué fue eso? Uy. No mames, no hay nadie. ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien? No hay nadie aquí. Se me desenfocó.
It was very clear that some sort of spirit was behind the door, and anybody in their right minds would agree with me on that statement. This was the first telltale sign that what Alonzo was dealing with was in fact a real threat, and he should approach the rest of the task with caution. Subscribe to the channel, as this was only one clip from a long mission made by Alonzo, and his story will be further developed in our next video. Similar to another clip in this video, our next video was captured by somebody working in a store, except this time it was the manager who experienced the event. The time was 10 at night, and he had come to the store to make sure that the cleaning staff had done their job on his weekly checkup that came on a random day to attempt to catch them out if they were slacking. The cleaners did a decent job, but there were some critiques that the manager managed to pick out, and he was about to call his staff members and explain it to them. Little did he know that he was not going to be able to do that.
Ya. ¿Qué hora es? Van a ser 10 para las 2. Y algo me tiene intrigado. Iremos a grabar. Carrito me estaba molestando harto rato y de verdad que no sé si es verdad lo que me dicen de acá. No sé qué onda. Vamos a hacérnoslo. Hay algo sí que me molesta. Conchetumare. Oh, bacán.
At the very end of the clip, the shopping cart moved on its own accord, which was disturbing to say the least. It was obvious that no visible force was acting upon the shopping cart, so whatever caused this must have not been visible to the human eye, leading me to believe it was an external entity, also known as a spirit. The following incident took place on an ordinary Tuesday evening in a small apartment building that had no reputation for being haunted. It was the kind of place where nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. No spooky rumors, no strange noises in the middle of the night, and certainly no tales of ghostly apparitions. In short, it was the last place anyone would expect something supernatural to occur. But as the old saying goes, never say never. Zach, a laid-back guy who preferred to unwind in his room after a long day, was minding his business when all of a sudden this happened.
Oh, fucking hella trash. But that's no reason for fucking shit to. That's no reason for to occur. You douchebag. You fucking ass. Bro, chill. Easily explainable. Maybe I knocked down your shit. There was a whole situation where I moved. Where I moved your fucking.
Suddenly, a few items fell from the kitchen counter right in front of his very eyes. Startled, Zach sat up straight. He turned his head towards the items cautiously and knew that something was up. It was obvious that no items were acting upon the countered property. A purple snap is a feature on Snapchat that refers to a user sending a video to one of their friends. These are very useful for sending short and quirky videos to people in search of a quick laugh or an awe, and this is all Roger wanted to do. He was home alone and texting a girl, so he thought that it would be a good idea for him to start filming his dogs doing tricks before giving them each a treat to spark some more conversation. Now, on a surface level, there was absolutely nothing wrong with this idea, and nothing could have gone wrong. But of course, you're watching a haunter video, so something terrible must have happened. Take a look for yourself.
Sit. The girls. Pow! Pow! Whatever. Let me get you a treat. Alright, wait. There it is. There you go. That was weird. Okay.
The drawer took it upon itself to open whilst Roger was in the room, and this sent him into a state of utter and complete shock. He quickly saved the snap to his camera roll and planned to upload it to YouTube, which is how I actually managed to get my hands on it. It is an unexplainable clip, and I cannot think of any way in which he could have made it up, but of course feel free to prove me wrong in the comments section. After uploading the footage to YouTube, Roger expected nothing more than a few likes and a bit of advice, but when little to nothing came from it, and nobody helped him out, he lost all sense of hope. Fortunately, the spirit had not made a second appearance, and it seemed to be a one-time instance. But just as this thought came to his head, this clip was taken. Afterwards, Roger decided that he was not going to tolerate this poltergeist for any longer and dialed a friend of a friend who happened to be a ghost hunter. They are currently in the process of cleansing the house of all demons, and we can only hope that Roger is okay soon. Leaving your house and becoming independent can be a difficult time for everybody, and it is pretty obvious as to why. The change from having your parents do everything for you to becoming completely self-reliant is super overwhelming, and this was the case for the young Russian man in our next video. He had only recently moved out into his own home and was rather confident about the switch of lifestyle. Perhaps he should have been more cautious though, because what actually went down whilst he was alone was not nice at all. Just 3 days in, this was recorded. All around his new home, things started to happen, and I bet he wished he had his mother's shoulder to cry on. He actually called his parents and asked to move back in to recover from this stressful experience, to which they fortunately took him in. I mean, fortunately. The following video was captured by Franco, an Italian man who loved the idea of exploring as much nature as physically possible. Around nature, he felt like he was in his element, and barely anything managed to scare him until the day that this clip was taken. He was in some form of woodland area and came across the entrance to a cave, so he entered it. He expected a hostile animal as a worst-case scenario, and approached the cave with caution, but once he got in, this was not what he would be facing.
Allora, è veramente impressionante. E poi è scavata come una bara. Ed è scavata dall'uomo, vedete? A picconate proprio. È strettissima. È molto bassa, molto piccola. E ci sono queste nicchie che non so che cosa sono. Avete sentito? È angustissima. Angustissima. Io mi fermerò a un certo punto perché non ce la faccio, sento. Merda. No. Aiuto. Porca puttana. Aiuto. Allora, ragazzi, è da tornare, ma almeno con un caschetto. C'è stato il momento che ho sentito un bruttissimo rumore in fondo. Non so quanto sia profonda, però è una cava, deve essere una miniera. Quindi tornerò con Jack e con qualche informazione in più. No, è assurda. Veramente assurda. Sembra l'ingresso.
Some sort of whistling sound could be heard in the cave, and Franco made sure to search it all. He thought that perhaps somebody who was in need of help would be at the end, but to his dismay, there was not a soul in sight. He claimed to have felt a cold feeling overwhelm him that night, which further adds to the theory that this was a haunting, and Franco never ventured into these specific woods again. Ghost hunting is a task that only the bravest of people undertake, because these paranormal creatures are the least researched entities on the planet. Not only can we not see them, but we also have no clue what they truly are, so respect is due for these brave adventurers. The ones in this next video were working for the YouTube channel, Proving Demons, who have a self-explanatory goal. They want to prove the existence of entities beyond the human eye living on our planet. Throughout this video, they were searching an old mine shaft that was so ridiculously haunted that they believed it to be some sort of portal to hell. Have a watch.
So what these two are doing are periodically stopping to check the safety of the mine. These guys seem to be very knowledgeable in mines. Which I guess in general would make me feel safer about the whole situation. Not very often we have actual tunneling, knowledgeable people in tunneling with us. Welcome everyone to the gates of hell. I don't even know if God can help us beyond this point. Welcome to the gates of hell, everybody. We're in.
Oh wow. Alright, going on trip. You going for that?
I am wrong.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Oh God. Tight spaces all of a sudden.
This gate was known as the Gate of Hell, and beyond this point, was where every single paranormal recording in the mine had been captured. The crew knew that they were in for some frights, but nothing could have prepared them for the sheer magnitude of them.
Makes my stomach queasy. It's alright. Keep marching through, because it's EVP time. Oh God, I'm not even kidding. I honestly feel sick to my stomach. Dead silence. What was that? Is that wind? I honestly feel like I'm gonna throw up. Let's just keep moving. Hello? Is there anybody down here with me? Can you make a noise? I hear like moaning or wailing. Like dead serious. Is that something there?
The crew decided that going separate ways would be the most efficient way to capture paranormal activity, and so they all went down different mine routes. This clip was the first one caught. The man heard some wailing or howling noises coming from down the shaft and was immediately aware of the potential that this was a spirit. He took out a device of his to confirm this, and it did tell him that something was there, but unfortunately, it did not react when asked to do something else. Frightened but still motivated to collect more evidence for the crew, the man continued down this path, and the next set of sounds were much more terrifying.
You guys, I can hear what sounds like a drum beat. And moaning. What the hell is that? Oh God, it's getting louder. Do you hear that? Oh God, I don't like that. Crap, I need to try and catch some of it on recorder. There's some hellish noises going on. Oh God, I can't go that way though. I just heard like a whisper, well, like a breathing. I don't want to be near that though. Screw that. Screw that. I'll take the whispering over the demon chants. Thank you very much. Oh. God, I hope I'm going the right way. Oh, crap. Just carefully, carefully get away. I don't like that. I do not like that. I do not like that. Freaking demonic sounding chanting. Screw that.
From moaning as if someone was in agony to demonic ritual-sounding noises, the man was understandably freaked out by the situation and made it his goal to escape as quickly as possible. Fortunately, he did get out of the mine unscathed and had to wait 30 minutes for the rest of the group to re-emerge. They got an entertaining YouTube video from this experience, but at what cost? In recent times, cave diving has become a viral activity that has all sorts of crazy clips being released about it. It is an extremely dangerous hobby that people can be dragged towards and has caused many deaths, and the video that you are going to be exposed to shortly was a horrific example. Fortunately, the man involved did not pass away during this incident and made it out okay, and I will explain why after you take a look for yourself.
Out. Come here. Come on. Come on. Go. Misty. What do you think about this, Misty? Keep looking. Stay behind me. fuck is that? Oh shit. Go. Come on, Missy. Come on, Missy.
Him and his dog were deep into the cave when eventually they came across a group of bats. Bats are very diseased creatures, so the dog's owner decided that they should turn back on themselves, but this is when they came across something far scarier. A tall, uncanny figure standing in the cave, which surely could not have belonged to a real human. The duo turned around and went to find another exit, which you will be glad to hear they did, and have lived the rest of their lives since with joy. On October the 18th of 2009, Jack Slaughters, somebody who enjoyed exploring places, decided that he was going to pay a visit to the Blue Ghost Tunnel. As you can probably decipher from the name of the location, this place was renowned for its ghost sightings and spooky hauntings, so Jack could not help but test these claims out. Instead of going in all alone, he got his girlfriend to come with him so that if one of them became injured, the other could help. And to his surprise, she actually agreed to tag along. Would this place turn out to be nothing but a rumor, or would it truly give Jack and his girlfriend the fright of their lives? You'll have to watch to find out.
So we're going on a road trip right now to the ghost tunnels, Blue Ghost Tunnels in St. Catharines area, and we're going to check out what we can find on the outside of the tunnel. We're not going to really go into the tunnel because we didn't bring a flashlight, but we're going to try to get as close as possible to where all this stuff happens. I'll tell you when we get there what actually happened. A lot of people died, so that's where we're headed right now. If you point the camera that way, you can see that it's fall time, so it's a good time to go. It's a little chilly out today, but we'll see what we find out there. Okay, we'll see you. We'll see you by the tunnel. Yeah, this is it. The Blue Ghost Tunnel. Get a further back view of it. Whoa. I can hear your footsteps. I don't know if the camera could pick this up, but listen in the background. I've just been informed that there's no trains in this area anymore. And it disappears. I'm gonna go a little bit further in the tunnel. If I don't come back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. So I came back in the tunnel for a second time, so I'm trying to find the other side of how you get to the other side. I can see a light at the end of this tunnel, but I can't see where the bridge and the tunnel intersect. If that's you coming closer to me, could you please stop? I just seen a light at the end of the tunnel. What the f? Hello? What the f was that? That was weird though. That whole side of the tunnel lit up like a flashlight. So now we went 3/4 of the way down the tunnel. We can't go any further because there's water down there. There's like a river. But where we started was way back there, where you can see the light. And where I saw that light was like over here where it lit up a little bit, but there was a flashlight. There's no possible way anybody could have got down here because that area is blocked off with water. So I don't know how the heck I seen that. So what did you think of this place? It's scary in here. You can feel like the tension. Yeah, we'll wait till they come back. So we did come and see the Blue Ghost tunnels. We seen a little bit more than we expected.
The duo expected nothing more than a few moving objects and some odd noises, but they quickly discovered that they had company in the tunnel. The light indicated that somebody or something was on the other end, and after inquiring to some people at surface level, they hadn't seen anyone else go in. Spooky stuff. Jose and his friends loved bike riding, and when one of them asked the group chat for a late-night ride, not a single one of them rejected the offer. It sounded amazing because they could travel the woods and the roads with little to no pedestrians or cars causing them to slow down. So before the incident that you are going to see happened, it was their best bike ride ever. Of course though, this is a haunter video, so something occurred that made this ride not so fun. And here it is.
Cuidado cuando salgan a las rodadas nocturnas.
What appeared to be the apparition of a woman showed herself at the side of the bikers' trail, and this severely put them off. After seeing the apparition, they all started to ride much faster and came to a halt shortly after the incident. They all discussed what they had seen and drew the conclusion that it was likely a weird light reflection, but I believe this was just them attempting to make themselves feel better. This was certainly a ghost, and I am sure that you would agree. The following video took place in the Horton Mine, a place that had never been logged to have held any paranormal events. The man who was about to explore the baseline of the mine was called Steve, and he was not there for any reason other than he enjoyed exploring places such as this. But this time around, it was not about to be a fun experience. Steve has been inside over 100 abandoned mines, and not a single one of them has given off the energy that this one did. So he knew that something was up, and this video proved his theory.
Okay, here's a lower adit at the Victorine mine. I believe this was an older mine that once they dug the upper tunnels, this got incorporated into the same claim or whatever. I forget what this was called, this particular mine entrance here, but this one's got a little bit of water in it coming out of it. Not much. Okay, here's a shot looking down the adit from just inside the portal, and some water here and there. So I'll go up here just a little bit further and see if it dries out any. Okay, a little further inside the tunnel here. And there's still water. You can see it really flowing here in front of me, right here, and this coming out here, out the tunnel. I'll go a few feet further in and check it out, but I think I'm going to pass on this one. This is one of the creepiest mine tunnels I've ever been in, just because of how dilapidated it is and all these chains hanging down from the overhead, and there's a shot looking down the tunnel even further a bit. And taking a look around here back at the entrance, which is there. Okay, here's a shot looking back towards the entrance. I'm a little bit further in. And looking down the tunnel here. that one chain is swinging back there. Don't know if you can see that in the video or not. Yeah, this mine definitely has a very spooky vibe to it. So I'm going to head back out and check out the other stuff that's here. This is just too wet and too muddy. And obviously something is making the chains swing. So time to get the hell out of here.
After watching this clip, many people doubted it and believed that Steve was nothing but a faker who wanted more exposure on his exploration content. Due to all of this controversy, the science television program Strange Evidence aired the clip in a season 3 episode and deemed the video as legit, making it fairly believable. After this incident, Steve went back to his normal job of visiting mines across the country and documenting their insides for his audience to see. The experiences followed the trend and also returned to normal ones, but quite some time later, another paranormal incident was posted.
So let's head back out. Sometimes we can see stuff on the way out that we missed coming in because we were facing the wrong direction. But yeah, this is crazy. These timbers up there, that's really dangerous. So we'll get through here as fast as we can and get out of here before this all comes down. Here's that ore chute again. And I gotta get past this chute. Wow, crazy. And then you can see how big these timbers are. That's about almost a foot in diameter, the big cross timber. So they had to put big ones in here to hold up all of this rock. And you can see right here where some of these boards are bending. Do you hear that? Sounds like, what, is that wind? I don't know if you can hear that on the camera. Do you hear that? It stopped. Wow. I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes, but wow. I've heard some weird stuff in mines, but that is definitely creepy. I don't know what that is. So let's get out of here and head back out to the portal. That was weird. I don't hear it. Wow, that was strange. All right, so, Jesus. That's the wall deck mine, main haulage tunnel, and this is the Through Night TN12 flashlight review and demonstration. So, highly recommended. The only one thing I could think of would be that it might need a diffuser tip, because see how it makes a white spot? It kind of washes everything out. So, well, I think
This is the same video with the enhanced audio effect to help you better understand.
Where some of these boards are bending. Do you hear that? Sounds like is that wind? I don't know if you can hear that on the camera. Do you hear that? It stopped. Wow. Wow. I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes, but I've heard some weird stuff in mines, but that is definitely creepy. I don't know what that is. So let's get out of here and that was weird.
The spirit said all sorts of spooky things such as, "Hear us, get out of this place," and even asked if he could hear them. This was a surreal experience and caused Steve to exit the mine instantly. Fortunately, it did not completely put him off his hobby, but it definitely made him more curious for future circumstances. I swear, man. These cave divers are doing everything except trying to survive, bro. These guys could hear about a cave called Death Valley, with a kill count of over 300, and still think it sounds like a cool adventure. Like, look at this guy.
Pushing it down. It's getting lower.
It's getting lower? Buddy, it's already low as fuck.
This is not good. Like, legit, to move forward, I have to dig the rocks out. Oh my god. If this ceiling even collapses like an inch, I'm squished like a bug.
You might as well try to crawl under a door at that point because that width is crazy work. The thing is that this guy probably has a wife and 2 kids with a $600,000 salary job and still thought that he could survive this. Cave divers need to be stopped. The following video took place in an Armenian household and was captured by a man called Ragalzu. He was your standard man. He had 3 children, a loving wife, and a very well-off income. But he had a hobby which did not make sense considering all this success. He often visited haunted locations because he, quote, enjoyed the thrill of being in life-threatening danger. And as I said, considering his success, this made 0 sense. The video that you are about to see took place during one of his adventures in an abandoned house in rural Armenia, and what he caught on video was wild.
Y segundo, que la batería del teléfono me dure. Uy, hijo de puta, cogió la par mía. Ariel Jiménez, hola, buena. Tocayo, tengo el mismo nombre y apellido. ¡A la verga! Les dije. Corrió la par mía, giré y me cerró la puerta atrás. Qué lindo, ¿no? Ah, gritaron. Están gritando afuera. Ojalá que... Ojalá que se haya grabado bien todo. literalmente corrió a la par mía, que escuché el... Así, me doy vuelta y cierro la puerta. Mira. La está viendo. ¿Te paso papel? Nah, chifo. Permiso. Ok. Tiriri. Ah, su puta madre. Tanto a joder con la puerta.
From the peculiar noises to the doors moving without any visible force acting upon them, it was clear that paranormal activity was at a high in this place. Furthermore, Ragalzu claimed to have felt awfully cold all of a sudden when the paranormal stuff began, which is a telltale sign of a spirit being present. Going out late at night can be a scary experience, especially in a place that can become as sketchy as the streets of Mexico. This clip was filmed by a young man called Stefan, and he was out late after walking his girlfriend back home from the bar like a gentleman. He made it to the train station to get back home when he noticed a gateway opening and closing by itself. Instinctively, Stefan took out his phone to record the incident occurring, and to his absolute joy, the spirit did not halt in its antics.
Mira, cosas que pasan en Barranco, en el Metropolitano. Oh, qué miedo. Uy, el cuco. El cuco. Uy.
This phenomenon was unexplainable because, as you can see by the lack of movement, it clearly wasn't a windy day in Mexico. On top of this, the gate was supposed to be sealed, and after the clip surfaced, the operator who sealed the gate promised that he did it that night. The chances are that this was more than likely a ghost caught on camera. On March the 8th of 2025, Emma had just completed one of the best nights of her life. You see, she had turned 18 the day prior, so all of her friends slept over, and once they all returned back home, Emma retreated to her room for a recovery, so she would be okay to attend college the next day. Immediately after jumping into bed, her lights were out, but surprisingly, her day had one more surprise in store for her, but it was far from a pleasing one. On the other side of the door, Emma could hear some creepy dialect, and she started to realize that it kind of sounded like somebody she knew. Her friend, Nicole, had only left the house 10 minutes prior, but she had 100% driven away, and the door had been locked, so it was not her. Whatever this spirit was trying to do, it clearly had negative intentions, considering it mimicked the voice of somebody close to Emma to try and invade her space. Fortunately, she did the wise move and ignored the mimic and gave it absolutely no attention once the video ended. This proved to be an amazing choice because slowly but surely, the human sounds started to drain out and Emma was ready to jump back into bed, but for some reason, the mimic struck again.
in. And this is why I can't call the cops, because when I go to look, there's no one there. I know it's hard to see, but I'm not opening the door. There's like no one out there. And like, this is a window. There's no people, but this is a window, and you can really see out there. And it's hard to see out. So I don't know what the hell is going on.
This time, as well as using its voice to mimic that of a loved one, it was scratching on the door, which added much more tension to the situation. As well as this, Emma decided that this time around, she was going to get proof that nobody was sitting on the other side. She filmed through both windows with an angle on the door, and to her dismay, nobody could be seen on the other side, making this whole saga unexplainable. Dua Lupe, not to be mistaken with the music artist Dua Lipa, is a popular social media influencer known for the combination of her attractive looks and paranormal content. She first started uploading videos centered around the paranormal universe quite some time ago, and it acted as a huge funnel for viewers to come into her TikTok page, so she did the only logical thing and rode the wave. She continued to visit some of the most haunted places on the planet, but none managed to deliver her true dream. Dua wanted to witness an apparition. An apparition is when a poltergeist reveals itself physically to the human eye, and these instances are far more rare than any other paranormal incident. Did she manage to capture one on camera for the first time in her life at this haunted shack? Well, have a look and find out for yourself.
Me estoy quedando en una cabaña por el cumpleaños de mi hermana y enfrente hay como una cabaña así, como pero abandonada, chiquita. Y es como una casita del árbol, así como para niños, no sé. No sé, pero se ve muy tenebroso. No sé si se vaya a caer esto porque está como todo podrido. Y no veo como para encender las luces ni nada. Mira, allá está la cabaña. Y... No tiene luz. Hay como una mesa, hay ganchitos de ropa y televisor.
If you were watching closely, you would have noticed the apparition that appeared 6 seconds into the clip. Its head slowly poked around the entrance to the shack before it ducked behind cover again, never revealing itself to the human eye again. Despite evidently feeling fear in the moment, Dua was pleased deep down that she finally managed to experience something of this magnitude and had documented it on YouTuber. Her dream had finally been completed, and this proves that spirits don't always encourage discomfort and negativity, even if they intend to. Hotels are some of the strangest places out there, and people don't know why. For some reason, they just tend to have an odd feeling about them, not to mention that a large portion of them have had paranormal reports throughout their history. It does make sense, considering how many people actually stay within them over their lifespans. Anyway, the video that we are about to watch together came from a woman called Avery, and she worked at the hotel. One day, when a bunch of people came around, none of them wanted to stay in room 205, so she did her job and investigated it. These were her findings.
Okay, so I'm here at work tonight, and we have workers that come here that work on the railroad. I checked in 5 of them, and the second floor is where they usually go because that's where all the king suites are at. Well, they're all saying, please don't put me in room 205. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with 205? And not one of them would tell me what was wrong with 205. I said, is it haunted? Like, really, what is it? Nobody can tell me nothing. So, how about me and you, all of us, go up to room 205 and see why no one wants to rent that room. So, hold on just a second. Okay, walking up there now. Going up the steps. How's everybody's night tonight? Hopefully it's good. Oh, these stairs kill me. Okay. I might have to turn the camera around, so I'm not very good at this, so just bear with me. All right. It's like really cold in here, though. Like, really cold. And the air's not even on. I mean, I don't see anything. So maybe we can sit. Yeah, the air and stuff's not on. Maybe sit in the dark. See if we can hear something. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I'm gonna probably lose all my views for my people watching, but okay, let's do this. Oh God! All right, no, I'm out. I'm out. Okay, I guess I just got my answer. Oh my God! Going back to the front. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I guess I got my answer. Okay, I think it is haunted. All right, have a good night.
Surprisingly, nothing happened up there. Well, at least on the surface level. After playing the clip back a couple of times, you start to notice that when she walked through the door, a voice could be heard, and it did not take me long to decipher what it said. Hey was the lone word, and if that was not the spirit inviting Avery in the room, I'm not sure what on earth else you could pin it to. Mirrors are known to be the closest thing to a spiritual gateway, and it is unknown as to why they have this reputation. One common superstition is that a mirror on the side of the wall acts as a portal to the underworld, and a surprising amount of people buy into this theory, one of those not being the boy in the upcoming clip. He was alone in his room jamming out to some music when his eyes detected motion in his doorway. Confused, the boy's eyes drifted to the door, and what he witnessed was beyond the unexpected. Take a look.
Oh my God, bro. I just seen the craziest shit. Look, over there. Over there, I just seen the craziest shit. Look! Oh my God. What was that? Oh my God. Oh my God, what is that? I'm like shaking right now. What is that? Look it. Watch, it's gonna do it again. It's gonna do it again. Look at that! Nah, bro.
Whatever that thing was, it was not human, and there are several reasons why. First of all, its entire figure was blacked out, and before you say it was all a shadow, the shadow was behind the blacked out part disproving this. Furthermore, the boy was home alone, and they had a lot of security, so a break-in would not have gone unnoticed. There are no excuses for this event. Of course, there will always be doubters though, and the audience of this clip were no different. This is why the boy uploaded a second clip, and this one was even harder to deny.
Look, there it is again. Holy shit. Look, even the cat's tripping. Even the cat's tripping. Last time he'll tell me to go look. I'm going to look. 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 It's literally just the bathroom. Look. Oh God. Don't ignore that. But look. Windows closed. There's nobody in here. It's just dirty. I'm just not... Like, what is going on, bro? Look at that.
This time he went and explored where the casting was coming from, and sure enough, there was nobody on the other side. Could this have been a concerningly coincidental casting from outside the house, or was there truly a spirit inside? Comment your opinions down below. Chase and his wife were staying at her grandpa's house after he recently passed away, and the reason was rather sad. The funeral had been arranged in a church local to where he used to live, but he lived quite far away, so they used his house as accommodation for the night before a new family started the process of moving in. The house already had a gloomy and unfortunate vibe to it, but when this happened, that feeling was only elevated.
How you doing? You okay?
I don't know.
So, we were just going to bed and we're not let me just show you. Like, we've literally had to put the bag up against the door because we're not sure. And like, we're literally just okay, so we're leaving. We got all of our stuff packed. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we're out of here. I'm leaving, like, I don't know what's going on.
All around the house, the doors were knocking and shaking, and this was unexplainable considering Chase and his wife were the only two humans in the house. They decided to leave the household and go to stay in a hotel elsewhere, but perhaps this was the wrong decision, because what if the ghost was in fact the grandpa of Chase's wife? The following video comes from security footage at a hospital where a man called Salid worked. He was doing his tasks mindlessly when suddenly some commotion began happening in the security department, and he went to inquire. A colleague of his explained that the officer had seen some sort of human shadow on the helipad where nobody should have been, and suspected that a spirit was present. Everyone knew that no one should have been on the helipad at that time. Curiously, Salid decided to ask to see the footage since he worked with incoming flights a lot, and sure enough, the shadow was not a figment of his colleague's imagination. The shadow slowly progressed along the helipad, and after seeing this, Salid was the first member of staff to alert the higher-ups. They claimed that it was likely just a camera malfunction, and that they were not going to take any further action. Should the managers have treated the situation differently? On May the 20th of 2017, a nurse was walking through a children's hospital when they noticed something that they just had to take a closer look at. The nurse was trying to get to a clinic that had called her and asked for assistance, which was rather unfortunate because she was supposed to be on her break. It was also unfortunate because it caused her to come across a spirit, and if its goal was to disturb the poor nurse, then it was definitely successful. In this video, you could see a balloon floating as if somebody was carrying it, and the likelihood is that this was caused by the ghost of a young child. This is because the children's hospital had saved many kids, but unfortunately hosted the deaths of some too, making it very likely that it was one of these past souls that haunted the hospital. When you go to work, there is usually a set routine and you stick to it. This is the case for many employees because the last thing that people want is to be unorganized and all over the place. But of course, every now and then some hurdles are thrown at you that cause the day to spiral elsewhere. This was the case for the staff present at IAMS at the time of 1 p.m. who were on their lunch break. This lunch break in particular was their favorite, because their friend group were all on shift at the time, but this time around, something unexpected happened to them. Have a watch.
Ándale, hazlo de vuelta, eso. Eso, sí, 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 sí. ¡Bravo! ¡Qué fantasmita! Ciérralas, ciérralas. Ciérralas, ándale, ciérralas. Ciérralas. Mira, ciérralas.
For some strange reason, the doors continued to open and close without any human interaction, and it was super clear that no one or nothing was interacting with it. It is important to note that this place had never hosted any paranormal activity before this, and this was a one-time thing, but frightening nonetheless. In case of any future similar scenarios, the boss of the place decided to bring in a ghost hunter the following week to see if they could pin down the issue, and to their fortune, there was no entity present, and this was just a one-time incident. A format that we see plenty regarding the catching of paranormal activity is a moving wheelchair, and it is unknown why this is so common when it comes to spirits in hospitals. A theory that many people suggest is that they are the poltergeists of elderly people who still rely on wheelchairs in the afterlife. But this would make zero sense, because the wheelchair never moves all of the time. Regardless of what the cause is, these phenomenons occur regularly, and the piece of footage that I am going to expose you to shortly captures something like it.
Estas son las cosas que pasan aquí en CDT con Chesum. Me cago. Ándate la mierda. ¿Pero qué es eso?
Strangely, the wheelchair moved as if somebody was in it, and the person filming the incident was justifiably in utter disbelief. Of course, the hospital had hosted many deaths, so it made sense as to why it would be haunted, but the chances of this happening in front of her very eyes must have been very low. We are going back 5 years for this next clip, and it was captured using a CCTV camera system in El Salvador. The cameras were mainly placed there to deter people from committing crimes within the hospital, and the staff had no clue that it was going to live to record spirits wreaking their havoc. The cameras were placed in the corridor that attached the hospital to the morgue, but was registered as a hospital camera, so this incident did also occur inside a hospital, well, at least right besides one.
Y pusiste más polarizado este.
No. No, está igual, hay que mandarlo a polarizar. Al 40 fue donde la jalan.
Ahorita la están jalando, pero despacito, la llevan bien despacito. Como ven, la están jalando, pero está costando. Me la llevan. Que ya se murió. Sí, ya se murió. Del 39 empezó a moverse, ¿eh? Ahí empieza a moverse. Así.
Mira cómo me va. Hasta ahí llega.
What looked to be some sort of hose pipe started to unravel out of its box without any external force acting upon it, meaning only one thing. This must have been a ghost. The video was very quickly posted to social media to gather the opinions of people, and the consensus was that the place was in fact haunted. You should comment your opinions on the event in the comment section down below so that I can see what our audience think. This Japanese reporter and her cameraman took a long and hard think as to what would get views. Their show had been in a drought for viewership, and they really needed a banger to revive it, so they came up with the idea of visiting the most haunted hospital on livestream by themselves. This was a silly idea, because not only were they not in the presence of experts, but they also had no equipment to detect anything. So it was obviously going to end badly and well. I will let you judge how it went.
この先にちょっと入ってみたいと思います。なんかこう埃っぽいようななんか空気がよどんでる感じがすごくします。本当に心霊写真が撮れるかどうかいくつか写してみたいと思います。
このカメラ、怪我をした男性が落としたカメラですね。何か不気味なものが映ってます。ああ、なんだろう。
In the mind of the woman, there was another person there, but something in her mind told her that it didn't look human-like enough to actually be a person. This drove her absolutely insane, because she had no idea whether or not they were in danger, and this caused them to end the live stream and sneak out of the facility. Fortunately, they both made it out unharmed, but they were certainly scarred mentally, and you should take this as a sign to not go roaming in locations known for being haunted. In Spain, a large hospital was due an expansion, and it was closed. On a specified day, the cleaning crew were all set to come in and sort out the main areas of the hospital so that it looked nice and neat upon reopening. But during this, one of the cleaners recorded a very disturbing video on their mobile device. They were doing their job when they started noticing a trash can's lid moving, so took out their phone to try and capture it. This was not the only thing that they were able to film. Of course, the trash can was a frightening experience for the cleaner, but the fact a child sprinted past the corridor in the background was rather strange. As I stated, only the cleaning crew were supposed to be in the building at the time, and the child looked way too young to have the mind to sneak into places. Furthermore, nobody was caught trespassing in the hospital that day, so even if it was a real child, then they would have had to escape without being seen, and that would have been pretty hard whilst running. The leading theory was that this was the apparition of a spirit, and I definitely go by this theory. It is quite hard to know whether or not you have experienced a haunting or a coincidence, but there is one way that most people determine this. When a spirit is present, it is often reported that a cold and evil feeling waves over a person, almost as if they can sense the presence. The person in our following video described this feeling perfectly after uploading it and knew that something was there. All of his senses were telling him that he was being watched, and this was backed up by what happened physically. The wheelchair moved on its own accord, almost as if somebody was actually sitting in it. The man was fortunate to have caught this on his mobile camera, because the device was on 1%, so the event occurred at the perfect time, which adds even more bizarreness to the situation. There are many ways in which a person can be haunted, but there is one way that has a scare factor far worse than any other. Before I tell you, you should have a guess in the comments and subscribe whilst you are down there. But it is apparitions. This is when a spirit shows itself to a human, and it makes sense that they are both the most rare and the most frightening things at the same time. The following one was filmed in a hospital, like all the clips in this video, and it was disturbing to put things mildly.
Oscar. ¿Qué pasó? Marica, había un niño, huevón. Oscar, había un niño, huevón.
The child did not stand there for long once the camera panned to it and sprinted with an almost perfect reaction time. It is obvious that no child could respond to something like this so fast, and even the way it sprinted was uncanny, so it is fair to assume that this was an apparition. Furthermore, the man behind the camera claimed to have felt that tingly feeling that you get when an unwanted presence is there, which further proves that it was a ghost. CCTV is a useful resource used to capture all sorts of activity if humans are not present, but they never fail to film the unexpected. For example, this final video was caught on the CCTV monitoring the exterior premises of the hospital, and it managed to capture a human-like apparition.
Ay, sí, bueno, yo también me quedé cojudo. Ahí al doctor Anthony Choi lo vamos a llevar.
Uy, qué
¿Dónde sale? Mira, ahí está, ahorita viene, ahí viene.
Es un fantasma, no lo va a captar.
Mira, ¿has visto?
Mira cómo sale.
¿Has visto dónde ha salido?
Caminando tranquilamente, con brazos y piernas.
Félix.
Tiene que salir de dudas. Pasache.
¿Qué pasó? Un fantasma. Mira.
At first, it seemed as if the spirit was genuinely a human because it had the same structure and way of walking, but once it disappeared into thin air, the opposite was revealed. Staying in a hotel is supposed to be a nice and relaxing experience for the guests, but this just is not the case when the place turns out to be haunted. Hotels are surprisingly one of the most commonly haunted places on the planet, and people have no clue as to why. Guests who have to endure these paranormal events are often offered compensation, such as future discounts or a refund. However, nobody thinks about the staff. The following video was captured by a staff member at San Antonio Hotel, and he managed to capture a bizarre event unfolding in a staff-only section. Have a look.
Alright, that's it.
Strangely, the trolley launched itself across the room out of nowhere, and the staff member was standing as perplexed as he ever had been. He usually filmed whilst he was in that area of the hotel, because it was renowned for being one of the worst locations to do work in, and this clip proved that. Using this to his advantage, the staff member who recorded the incident showed it to his colleagues and instigated a pay rise demand for the workers who had to endure life like this. Fortunately, they were given what they deserved. Christmas is one of the happiest times of the year for many people across the globe, with the majority of humans claiming it as the best day of the year. Whilst this is the case for many, though some people tend to dislike the festive season for various different reasons, but none are more justified in doing so than Ahmad. Ahmad's Christmas curse started 3 years ago when he was woken up on Christmas Eve by some loud banging sounds from the kitchen. Ever since that first haunting, Ahmad's Decembers have been riddled with paranormal activity, and the piece of footage that I am about to show you is a moment that Ahmad managed to catch this on camera. He was in his house hearing some loud sounds, so decided to take out his phone in hopes he could catch the ghost in the act, and sure enough, he did.
Et là c'est tôt, il doit être 8h, 8h30. J'entends des bruits en bas, c'est ma copine qui fait du rangement. Et c'est en haut que ça se passe en fait. Je sais pas. Il y a quelqu'un ici? Ok. Est-ce que tu peux refaire bouger le Père Noël? peux faire tomber quelque chose d'autre peut-être? J'ose pas aller là-bas. Il y a personne derrière moi. Hein. Je tiens à dire, je suis tout seul.
The spirit oddly decided to push over the Christmas decoration of Santa Claus, which was a strange decision to say the least. As well as this, it created several banging sounds, but at this point Ahmad was used to it. The main source of his confusion was the fact that the Santa decoration was the thing that was interfered with. Could this have been a message to Ahmad? Or was it simply the first thing the ghost sought its eyes on? Let me know what you think of the situation in the comments. On June 17th of 2021, an iconic paranormal investigation took place. It was conducted by Yama, an Asian college student who believed he had been haunted for half a year, but was too frightened to inform his parents of the situation, due to them finding him psychopathic, which is common in these videos of ours. However, one day Yama thought it would be a smart idea to set up cameras all around his house in order to catch this spirit in the act. And sure enough, he caught what he wanted to. All sorts of hauntings went on here, and it is safe to say that the ghost had a fairly active night. If you were to create a paranormal activity graph for this house, this sequence would break the charts because so much went on throughout such a short time span. After the event, Yama sent the footage to his parents and uploaded it to social media, where it would smash 800,000 views and finally get him the help he deserves. He was able to visit several priests and get in touch with the best ghost hunters, all down to the belief of the people, and if he hadn't have caught this, then who knows where he would be now. Chloe and Sharon were two employees of a local business, but there was a special twist to their place of work. The people who called it their place of employment all also deemed it as the most haunted building in the entirety of Wales, and you are about to see why firsthand. The lore of this building is actually unknown, but the owners of the business purchased it 15 years ago, meaning the hauntings must have started fairly recently, considering they reported no problems when first operating there. The poltergeist activity in this building has led to several raises being handed out to employees and constant rehiring due to people quitting the job, so the owners do plan on moving out soon, but not soon enough to stop this happening.
Chloe, you're gonna have to go and have a look, honestly. Please.
Don't fucking go.
Well, I am.
I'm here.
No, we're the only ones here.
What? What?
Oh! No! Oh my, Chloe, go in, Chloe, go in.
There's no one in here.
No, wait. I'll have a look at the bar now. What the hell?
After some peer pressure from Sharon, Chloe approached the banging, and to her dismay, no source was found. They both went to the owners of the business, who said that unfortunately, they could not do anything about it, and that they were trying their absolute hardest to relocate the facility. This led to Sharon quitting her job, and Chloe demanding a pay rise, to which she was granted a very small one. Who knew that doing something as simple as purchasing a guitar from a garage sale could be the reason you have to put up with a spirit for a few weeks? Well, to the misfortune of a man called Seth, a TikToker to be exact, this is exactly what happened to him. He does a pretty good job at explaining the situation at the start of the clip, so I am going to let him do his thing, but I must say, it was very crazy towards the end.
I've never had an issue with ghosts or any weird, unexplainable stuff in my house, but I bought a guitar the other week at a garage sale from this old lady down the street, and every time I pick it up or strum it or play it, really weird shit happens, and I'll show you. That is some Lotus, like very 80s looking guitar, and every time I strum, like that, shit like that happens every time I mess with this thing. Like that.
For some inexplicable reason, the guitar managed to cause all sorts of havoc whenever Seth played it. This was obviously a major problem, because the whole point of purchasing a guitar is, of course, to play it, so the fact he could not do this was frustrating. The most logical answer to the whole situation was that the person selling the guitar in the garage sale knew of its haunting and wanted to sell it so that they could get it off their back. Seth dumped the guitar outside of their house the next day, and they probably weren't annoyed at all because they could sell it onto a new victim and still keep Seth's hard-earned cash. Everybody knows that if something paranormal is going to go down, then there is only 1 hour it will do so, 3 a.m. You've all seen the videos. Almost every single ghostly event happens at this hour, so much that it has been deemed as the witching hour by most. If people could bet money on an hour for ghosts to appear, it would be 3 a.m. You get the point. Anyways, it was this time when a poor mother and father received a notification from Ring, a camera company that they were specifically using to monitor their baby. Expecting it to be the baby crying, the duo opened their phones to find something horrible. First of all, the baby's toy started playing randomly, and that isn't as scary until you understand that it had no batteries. The parents always took the batteries out of the toys that had them in fear that their child could choke, and whilst responsible, it did cause a fright here. Furthermore, some sort of being must have rocked the crib because they cannot do that on their own accord. On a whole, this video was very spooky, especially considering the fact that whatever was behind it decided to make its victim a baby. Kaye has been on several past videos for this channel, and it is safe to say her story is a long one. However, before I play the next clip in her saga, I will briefly summarize what has happened to the poor woman. Roughly 1.5 years ago, she made the decision to purchase a new house. This was meant to be a wholesome move for her family so that they could all experience a fresh start and life elsewhere. However, it did not take long at all for them to realize it was haunted. All sorts of creepy stuff started going down, and it was only a matter of time before Kaye started to capture things on camera. In the last video, we showcased a couple of the things that she managed to get on tape, and this one is going to be no different.
Reason why I came up here is because I need to grab it to charge. Chain check. Just gonna fucking. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god. I'm freaking myself out. I'm literally scared to open this door right now. Did you guys see how that door like shut fast the first time when I went to open it? Okay. At least the door is still open. Everything's fine.
The door continued to open and close, and in case you are new to the channel, then I will let you know that the room behind the door was undoubtedly the most haunted part of the house. This is why Kaye seemed so collected during such a dire situation. But trust me, she was panicking deep down, especially once it happened again. This situation is horrible for Kaye, and all we can do is leave her in our prayers. The following video was recorded by Stuart, a regular bloke who did not believe in paranormal activity in the slightest. Stuart was going through a tough time in his life because his ex-girlfriend had just broken up with him a few weeks back, and furthermore, he discovered that she passed away from some form of illness. He put two and two together, working out that she broke up with him to feel less guilty when she passed away. But if anything, this made him feel far worse. Anyways, a week or so went by after the death, and Stuart was relaxing in his home. He had noticed quite a few strange things happening over the past week, but none were as bad as what was about to happen.
Just kind of gotten used to it. I kind of believed that it was my ex, honestly. It's kind of ramped up lately, and I got this SLS camera now, and there's been noises coming from over by my desk and stuff falling off the desk constantly. So I'm going to see if I can capture something. Okay, I've got this SLS thing, and I've been hearing, stuff's been getting knocked off this desk for like 3 days now. What? Fuck. You gotta be kidding.
His SLS camera picked up a lot of movement in the kitchen, but this was an unreliable source, so we cannot trust it. What happened that was trustworthy was when an item fell from the counter without any sort of reaction, and fortunately, Stuart was able to capture this happening, proving that he was not living a normal life. The time was midnight, and a couple of security guards were monitoring the perimeters of the office that they were in charge of keeping safe. Just outside the office was a kids' park that was extremely popular with the locals and was usually bustling with life. But of course, when the clock strikes 12, all children-focused places are meant to be desolate. Not this one though. Whilst there were no people in sight, the guards saw something unexplainable that night and have felt spooked on the job since. Have a watch.
Pato, pato, pato.
Ah, Carlos. Weón, mira. Mira, weón. No, se llama. Mira los pies. Mira, weón, mira. Mira, weón. Mira como, mira, weón, de fuerte. Weón, mira, y no hay ni viento, mira, nada. Mira la sombra. Me chulo, no se me dio miedo. ¿Cómo mira la sombra, weón? Parado ahí, weón. Apuesta la sombra. Weón, mira la sombra, weón, parado. Mira, weón, se ve claramente, mira, mira, mira. Sí, un weón parado, weón. Mira, weón, se está cagando. Ahora se me dio poco, weón. Sí, weón, ahora sí.
The swing on the left somehow continued to swing by itself, and it is safe to say that it was not windy. On top of this, there were a few moments in this where the swing had too long of a standstill air time, making it impossible to have happened without some form of exterior force. It was pretty obvious that this exterior force was a spirit. Josue was above a supermarket for an unknown reason, but he had no idea that he was about to witness a spirit performing its acts. The time was very late, and due to the lack of customers, we can assume that the place was closed for the night. There was an eerie feeling according to the male filming, and he felt a cold tingle shiver down his spine, but he decided to ignore the signs and stay put. This led to the following being caught on tape. It all started with strange noises all around the supermarket, as if things were dropping and sliding out of sight from the camera. Next, some items in the frame fell to the ground, and a shopping cart slowly drifted down the hallway as if an actual human was pushing it along. All of these things put together made for a scary paranormal string and Josue was pleased to get out of the place without being harmed. Like our last clip, this one was also captured in a supermarket, except this time it was confirmed to be a staff member and they were a cleaner. Now he hated his job as the cleaner because the pay was low, the task was boring, and the hours were frustrating. But due to his position, he had no choice but to follow the job. He always wished that something entertaining would happen one night to spice things up a little, but day after day, this extra spice never came. When it did come, however, he wished it never did.
Ay, che huerca traviesa. Ahí deja ya. ¿Dónde se atraviesa? Ya vete a dormir. A mí se prende las luces. Otra vez. Ya vete. Dale, a dormir. Ay, che huerca traviesa. Ahí deja ya. ¿Dónde se atraviesa? Ya vete a dormir. A mí se prende las luces. Otra vez. Ya vete. Dale, a dormir.
For the entirety of his shift, the cleaner felt an odd presence and even claimed to have heard some ghostly sounds echoing down the corridor. For a while, he assumed that he was just bored and inventing scenarios up inside his head. But when the shopping trolley began to edge towards him, he knew that something was up. He sent the clip to his manager and used it as an excuse to finish work early, and luckily, she bought it and allowed him to keep his pay for that day. The supermarket are currently in the process of finding a resolution to this issue. Donna Ayers is a woman that subscribers of my channel will have heard the name of on several occasions, and this is because of the sheer amount of paranormal events she has experienced and published. You are probably wondering why she hasn't been able to get rid of this entity that has haunted her for a couple of years, and the truth is that she doesn't want to let it win and show that it has frightened her. This specific clip that you are about to see was captured on December the 12th of 2014 and was initially a small vlog to update her audience on the hauntings. It did not take long for it to become a documentation of an actual haunting though.
Whatever on the iPad, onto Facebook and onto my page. Please like and share and comment and feel free to say what you like. Just no foul mouths and people that like to comment nasty stuff, please, or you'll be blocked and taken from the site. I'd like to say it's absolutely freezing in here. I keep going hot, I keep going cold. I could feel a presence in here right now. Not many believe me. I can feel something on my neck. Don't know, but I can feel something. It's quite scary actually, because being alone, my partner didn't come round for the day to tomorrow, so I have to put up with all this going on. But I've managed to get quite a bit, so I just hope it's okay for you guys. I'll just keep posting as it comes. I'll do a YouTube video. I kind of just froze on the spot. There's something moving my ear. Oh my god. lost him. I've gone really, really hot. Oh, and I've got a real horrible breeze that's filing me. Oh my god. Please, can you get off me? Please, can you stop? In Jesus' name, please get off my earring. What the hell? Please stop. Touch what you want in my home, but don't touch me. It's messy, mate. I'm roasting out, going really hot, yeah, and I mean really hot. I feel a bit sick as well. Is it normal for spirits to touch a human? I mean, this going awful feeling. It feels so dark. Oh, not touching me.
Donna explained just before the clip started that there was a cold feeling in the air, and she was aware that the spirit in question was present. She was not aware, however, that it was about to mess with her within a 1 meter proximity though. Her earring started to drift from side to side, and this would be enough to send anybody into a state of shock. I do think that Donna was rather calm about the situation though, and handled it very well, considering the situation. She has still not showcased her fear towards the spirit in my eyes.